Hey everyone, welcome to another What I Eat in a Day video. In this video, I've got some easy recipes that are cozy, comforting, and completely plant-based. I also have a grocery haul to help give you some more meal ideas, so I hope you enjoy this video, and let's go ahead and get started with breakfast. My kitchen still smells so good from baking those croissants this morning, and it reminds me that there used to be a candle that tried to capture that smell of freshly baked bread because it is just such a good smell, and it was from Bath & Body Works like a long time ago. I don't think they had it for very long, but I feel like it was called baguette or maybe just bread. I'm not exactly sure, but I remember that they went through this whole like Thanksgiving food series to try to capture how good it smells when you make homemade foods and breads and stuff like that. So there was like a mashed potatoes one, there was a bread one. I can't really remember the rest, but yeah, my apartment right now smells like freshly baked croissants, and if I could bottle this scent up and just make it smell like this all the time, I totally would, because it is very, very cozy, especially because we are having a beautiful fall day today. It is sunny, but it's also cold and crisp and nice, and it's just really nice. So definitely gonna go on a walk later. One thing I wanted to show you guys is the gallery wall that I'm working on. You can see it right there, but I had this initial idea to basically press my wedding bouquet and, you know, save those flowers, dry them, and then turn them into wall art of some kind, or even just make them into smaller, you know, just make smaller frames with some of the flowers and put them on bookshelves as just kind of personalized decor. I thought that would be so cute. But if you remember from a couple videos ago, I gave an update and that did not work. My flowers totally molded and that project just had to be scrapped. So instead we went ahead and got some pictures printed. I got 2 from our wedding and 2 from when we got engaged in Montana, and I made a little gallery wall. So I'm going to show you that. Okay, the light is not very good right here, but I wanted to show you this gallery wall, and I'll show you a close-up in a second. But basically I figured out this layout by using AI. I just asked Claude what I should do with the size frames that I have. So I have 2 that have 8x10s, and then these 2 in the middle are 5x7. And we have this kind of long, awkward wall that bridges the kitchen and the living room. And so it's kind of an awkward length, and I didn't really know the best way to display the frames. So I asked for layout options, and the first couple ones were a little bit wonky, I will say, but you just keep talking to it and asking for what you want. So it was like, can you lower the ones in the middle? Can you put them closer together, farther apart, whatever? And I just kept getting layout options until I found one that I liked. And that's how I was able to come up with this layout. So it was really easy to follow and free. You just use the free Claude, and I found it to be really, really helpful. So that's a good little hack for any of you who are putting up gallery walls or doing some decorating in your house. I think that's a really helpful and handy way to get some ideas. All right, so it's getting to be lunchtime now, and I'm gonna heat up a soup recipe that I've been working on perfecting, and I'm gonna share the recipe with you, not this coming video, the next one, but the one after that. I've got a whole video that is dedicated to cozy, but also healthy and hearty soup recipes, because that has honestly been the thing I really wanna eat the most around lunchtime these days. That and the frozen burritos that I made in my meal prep video recently, either one of those has been my go-to. But what I love about a veggie soup is that I don't really, especially right now, I don't really feel like I'm craving a lot of vegetables, but I know that I want, you know, those nutrients. And so there's something nice about knowing that you're getting a very veggie packed soup, but it's in like a comfort food package, you know, like soup with good bread and some hummus or avocado, like, you know, just a comfort food meal, but actually there's a lot of good stuff in there. That has been my go-to recently. So I'm gonna heat up some soup and have it with some hummus toast on the side for a little bit of protein and fiber and carbs, and it is going to be so good. I already know because I've been making this all the time recently. So the first thing that I did was I sliced a couple of pieces of this everything bagel bread, and then I reheated this carrot ginger soup that I'm recipe testing. So I have quite a lot of this on hand right now, and I'm not complaining because it is one of my most flavorful soup recipes. I know you guys are gonna love it. It's got ginger and coriander, and this was such a good combination. This is one of my favorite breads, and it's a sourdough bread, which is already like top tier favorite for me, but then it has everything but the bagel seasoning on top, and it's like really crusted on there like an everything bagel, which happens to be my favorite bagel too. So it's like every bite you get that little bit of salty, that little crunchy, that kind of garlic and onion on top, but then the inside is fluffy and soft, so it's like crispy and fluffy. It's genuinely such a good bread, and I actually keep it in the freezer and bake it, and it goes from freezer to table in 25 minutes, which I just think is so nice because whenever I have soup, you know, frozen in the freezer and I want to have some bread to go with it, I just pull out a loaf of bread, I will bake it, and I can slice it up and have that for a couple of days, and it's like freshly baked bread and homemade soup at the ready, all because I have my freezer stocked. This bread is from Wild Grain, which is my favorite discovery that I made all year. Now, I didn't discover it, it existed before I discovered it, but it was new to me, and it's one of the coolest things I've come across this year because it is a bake from frozen subscription service, and you can pick and choose from different artisan sourdough breads, pastas, and pastries, and they have a plant-based option. So they have a gluten-free, they have a plant-based, and they have a classic. So of course I go for the plant-based version, and it is egg-free, dairy-free, and completely 100% vegan, including the croissants, including the pastries, including the sourdough breads, and everything arrives frozen in a box. I store it in the freezer, and that way I can make it whenever I want. Oh, and did I mention chocolate chip cookies? There's also chocolate chip cookie dough that is just frozen, ready, and waiting. I love a good sourdough bread just flavor-wise, but Wild Grain basically sources from all of these local artisan bakeries to help support these small businesses, and they are making sourdough bread the good old-fashioned way. There's a slow fermenting process. You just place it in the oven, right on the rack, bake it, and you have like what feels like a homemade bread loaf in just a couple of minutes, 25 minutes. And you can pick and choose what you want too, which is really cool, and they have tons of options. So let me show you what I got in this box. First up, we got this slow fermented olive oil ciabatta. This is amazing for sandwiches, and we also like to use it for garlic bread. Then I got this sourdough everything loaf and another batch of these chocolate chip cookies. We loved these last time. They make big bakery style chocolate chip cookies, and blueberry biscuits. We're gonna try those for Thanksgiving morning for an easy breakfast. This fresh, thick pappardelle pasta, so good and hard to find vegan, so love that we have that option. Also classic sourdough, and our free item were the croissants that we had this morning. If you guys wanna get $30 off plus a free item, I always love the croissants, but they have so many options to choose from. You can click the link that you see in the description box below and check it out. Like, I think it is something that is just such a cool concept. I wish everybody knew about it, honestly, because we've been enjoying it so much. And again, if you want to get $30 off, you can click the link in the description box below. A little later on, I put away some groceries that I got from Whole Foods. First up, I have this Ripple plant milk. It's one of my favorites because it's high in protein, as well as this soy milk. I always look for protein-rich plant milks because it's a really easy way to round out a meal with just a little bit more protein and make it a little bit more hearty. I got some butter. This is my favorite one for baking, as well as these panko breadcrumbs for making crispy tofu cutlets. I'll put that recipe down below. And this is my favorite cereal. I think I have it almost every single day. Then I got this mild buffalo sauce. It's dairy-free, and we use this to make buffalo bowls. It's so good with my ranch dressing recipe, which I'll put below. And I got some Old Bay seasoning because I kind of want to try to make my own vegan filet of fish sandwich this week, so we'll see how that goes. Picked up some bitchin sauce because we put this on absolutely everything, as well as some vegan mayo because I wanted to make my favorite ranch dressing recipe for our buffalo bowls. I'll put that recipe down below. Then I stocked up on some coconut milk and diced tomatoes. You need both of these to make my lentils, my dal recipe. It's like an Indian
comfort food that I love having, especially when the weather gets cold. So I'll put that recipe down below as well. The dill is for my ranch dressing, and the olive oil is simply because I'm out. But I did get some extra hummus because hummus with saltines and a cold glass of orange juice has been my favorite snack recently. Such a good combination. And then I got some vegan cheddar cheese and vegan mozzarella cheese. And for veggies, I got some cauliflower to go in our bowls throughout the week, as well as some mushrooms. These are going to be chopped up really, really small and hidden in our meatballs that we're going to make later. And it's just such a good way to get veggies. Also got some canned lentils. This just makes life so much easier, as well as some apples. Oh, and Brussels sprouts. This is again for bowls throughout the week, just an easy veggie to roast. I do have a blog post about how to make restaurant style roasted Brussels sprouts at home, so I'll put that in the description box as well. And after cleaning up, I really needed a little snack. So surprise, surprise, I had my what feels like millionth bowl of cereal this pregnancy, and it was so good.
For dinner tonight, I'm gonna make my meatball subs recipe. These are lentil meatball subs, so they're totally plant-based. And this is a recipe that's been on my blog for a couple of years now, and I really love it because, again, like the soup that I had for lunch, it is comfort food, but with really good stuff inside. You get some veggies, you get some lentils, all stuff that like just does not sound particularly appealing to me right now, but in a meatball sub form, it sounds really good. So that's what we're gonna have for dinner. I'm so excited about it. I've been thinking about this particular recipe for a while, so it's time we make it. I'll put it in the description box below so you can make it too.
The thing I love most about this recipe is it's completely plant-based. So you've got something that tastes like an Italian meatball, but it has lots of veggies in there. So we've got onions, garlic, lentils, carrots, some walnuts, and some mushrooms, but everything is cut up really, really small. So it's very cohesive. And I add Italian herbs and dried fennel and garlic just to make it really flavorful. And then this is gonna bake in the oven. So I like to just go ahead and scoop it onto a cookie sheet. I'll brush it with a little bit of olive oil so the outside gets nice and crispy. And this is just gonna bake. And then when I make the sandwiches, I just toss the meatballs with a little bit of sauce, and I add extra sauce to the bread as well. I melt some cheese. This is that Violife cheese that you saw earlier in the grocery haul. And then I just assemble the sandwiches with a little bit of red pepper flakes. This was so good, and I love that it's, again, like getting extra veggies in there, but it kind of just tastes like you're having a meatball sub. We served this with some salad, and that was our dinner.